You are listening to the Starter Girls podcast with Amy Lafitte
and Jennifer Loading.
And whether you are starting a project, starting a business, starting a brand, or starting a movement, we are here to talk about it. And I'm so excited to be talking with the fabulous Jennifer Loading. We have so much fun together, don't we?
We do. It's our second podcast for the day, too. We are rocking.
We're a little busy. We are hanging out in our podcast little hangout here.
This is our little, what we call it, our little closet cubby here.
Our closet.
It's nice and cozy in the podcast room. But yeah, no, we are having fun. We were talking about this, that we have so many, on our last podcast we talked about, we have so many incredible guests, lining up. And so one of the things I was telling somebody the other day that's been so neat about what we're doing is, I always talk about that when you're excited, other people get excited. And sometimes they don't even know why you're excited. Mm-hmm. The other day I put a post up, case in point. I put this post up and I didn't tell anybody what I was excited about. It was just, I'm excited about something. I was excited. So my mom comes in, a few days later, and she's like, I don't know what you're excited about, but I'm excited for you. And I'm like, this is my point where I always tell people, if you want to get people excited, get excited, right? Yeah. You have to get with them. And so it's been so fun because we, doing this whole show, when I go out and network all the time, I'm always very passionate about what we're doing and the purpose behind the show and, what we're trying to do here. And people sometimes don't even really know what we're doing, but they get excited and then they're calling me and saying, I've got this person you need to talk to, or this person you need to talk to. And so that is so much fun. When it's almost like we're recruiting people to help us spread our message. It's just, incredible.
I know.
Incredible.
It is. It's really fun. I mean, I just think if you just helping people and getting them excited is probably the biggest thing. And you're right. Like, it doesn't matter how great your content is. It doesn't matter what you're actually saying. But if you start with that energy, that always goes really, really far.
But as you said, we do put out great content.
We do.
We do that too. So we're good at entertaining. We're good at entertaining and educating. That's what I tell her. We don't always have everything perfect, but we try. So.
And we have a way that we can bring excitement not only to people's ears while they're in the car or walking around or whatever, but also in person and live.
I agree.
Do you want to talk about what's going on in April?
Yes. Let's talk about that. So we are doing, this is going to be our third Starter Girls event. We're super excited. It is going to be Saturday, April the 4th from 9:30 to 1. We have some amazing things going on. We have a great, incredible speaker that we're adding to the platform. And then we're working on getting some donations for giveaways. We've already secured one, which is kind of fun. I'm excited about that and excited about the collaboration that I'm working with this particular gal in general. And she was also referred to me by our fabulous guest who is here today. We're going to get to talk to her. And so, we're super excited about this event. It's going to be educational, inspirational. And, I always say that I'm a meat and potatoes kind of girl. I like to make sure that when people come in, not only do we inspire them, but we send them out with tools. Like, we give them things that they can work with, because there's nothing more frustrating going into an event and you're just all pumped up and then you walk out and go, I don't know what to do.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So I really believe in the power of educating and giving people, tools and things that they can take with them, utilize, put them to work in their business, in their personal life, whatever that is. And so we are going to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's such an important thing, because you think about like New Year's resolutions or people like setting a goal or a dream. So many people have that inspiration or that creativity and they'll come up with this idea, but then they literally have no tools in their toolbox to take it anywhere. Like, even part of my life, I didn't have those until I went to certain seminars or I had certain, ideas. And so I like that. Because most people do have a dream, but then they don't know how to implement the dream. Right. They don't even know like what step one looks like. And they don't realize that they can brainstorm and put together some tools and start working towards their thing. And it probably won't 100% work out, but now because of that, they're going to be able to move further. And so we talk about all of those things. And so especially with, I think all of us just wanting to also like have that excitement of going towards something, like having that, like starting a dream, a vision, a goal, like all the things that we talk about. I think a lot of times too, you need that person that can be there to cheer you on and go, it's okay if you fail, it's okay if you try something different, it's okay. Because I think failure is a big part of the success story that is like fulfilling a dream, right?
It's the what leads to sabotaging behaviors. It's huge, absolutely.
Yeah,
I agree, 100%. Well, and I think too, we get so hung up on when you're talking about these dreams is that we start scaling them. We've talked about this in previous podcasts. We've talked about it in our training. I just did did a presentation last Friday for a networking group, and I talked about sabotaging behaviors and how we get so hung up on the hows of everything rather than just saying, start from where I'm at. What is the single thing that you can do today to get you closer to your goal? We get hung up on all these things that we got to do, and we just stop.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nothing happens. So,
Start where you are with what you have.
Yeah, how many times can we say that? And what was so great is in our last show, 2 shows ago, we had a motivational speaker on here, and it was so cute because she went to say that, and Amy and I looked at each other, and Amy's like, I hear Jennifer say this all the time.
Yeah, it's a great line that we're like love to talk about.
Yes, it really, it takes the pressure off too, because then I don't have to know everything.
Yeah.
I just got to do one thing.
Right.
One thing. And what is it? Those small sustainable changes lead to big results. So you do these small things over and over and over, they create massive impact.
Yeah, they do.
Yes, hello.
So awesome.
Get excited. So we're excited about our event. We want everybody to show up. Tickets are on sale on our Facebook page right now, so get your ticket. We do have limited seating, by the way.
Yes.
We really do, because we don't have, we're still in the beginning stages, and like I said, it's our 3rd event. Our 2nd one was bigger than our first one. We're anticipating this one's going to be bigger than the last one. But we are still in a place where we have limited seats. So get your ticket.
And if you don't live in Texas and you're like, oh, you're killing me right now.
Yes.
We can help you with that, because we are going to do a live stream for this event. And so you can still be able to participate and be a part of it if you don't live close to us, where you could actually come to the event live. If you are in the DFW area or even in the Texas state, I really recommend coming live. You know, if you know anything about things, how energy and synergy in the room, and you can't replicate that. Like, we can video it for you, but it's not the same as being there. It never is. Mm-hmm. And we always say decisions are made at events. No matter what industry you're in or what you go to. I just went to an event last weekend, and I made the decision to quit sugar. It had nothing to do with my business or anything, but I made a decision at an event, because that's what we do. So,
That's right. That's right. Now you just got to follow it all up with action, right?
So far, so good.
All these people checking up on you.
I know, right? They're like, are you still off the sugar?
Yeah.
That's the one good thing about doing media. When you put something out there, it's out there, and it's there for good, and people do see it. And that's why I always say I don't put things out that I don't intend to do.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly.
You will not see me. It cracked me up when last May when I put that post out. It was the story. I went into this guy's office, a friend's office, and he was talking to me about social media, and he's like, you need to write your book. And I walked out immediately, jumped in the car. I put on Facebook, I made a decision today to write my book.
Yep.
Well, then people started messaging me, and they're like, are you really writing the book? And I'm like, wow, you don't know me very well. I don't put anything on Facebook I don't intend to do.
Yeah.
Once I've made that decision, once it's verbalized,
Oh, yeah.
the decision has been made.
Because you put the pressure on yourself to be accountable for
Exactly.
what you
And your word is your integrity,
Of
right?
course.
So when you say something, you do it.
I will say, I do tell people, I'm like, Jennifer, if she says something, her word is cement. Like, it's for real.
Yeah.
I was like, now, with me, I really try. We'll just leave it at that.
Effort.
Right. Yeah, I don't like to retract, on what I say. So I really
don't.
Like to,
you don't have to ever.
What
You're really
sign are
good.
you?
She's a Scorpio.
I'm a Sagittarius.
I'm a Sagittarius.
Exactly
You know.
Ah, you two are cute.
I know.
Well, we know this podcast is going to be fun.
I know.
Yeah.
All right, so we need to do our Starter Girls Weekly Top 3. And we thought, because we have such a fabulous guest on here, I'm super excited to introduce her, bring her on. She's incredible. She's got all these hats that she wears, entrepreneurial hats as well. So we're going to be talking about that. But one of the things, she's a stylist, and she's done some modeling. And so I thought it would be fun for us to name the top 3 models that come to mind, that we can think of. So you want to kick this off?
Yes.
All right, go for it.
This is a topic I can live in, right?
Absolutely.
I love me some Vogue. I used to live with it when I was in 7th and 8th grade. I was going to become a model. So
yeah.
So I've got some good ones. I've got a basic one. I got Cindy Crawford. But when I was little, I actually have a birthmark. And so when I was little, people used to call me.
Oh, yes.
She does.
Yeah. Now because I smile, it actually falls into my smile line, so a lot of people don't notice. But when you're little, that doesn't happen. So people always were like, "Oh my gosh, you're Cindy Crawford," and I had the long brown hair.
And
have the pretty features.
And she's got some really. She put a photo on Facebook the other day, and we were all like, "Wow." She's like, "It's an old photo."
Mm-hmm.
She has great genes, though. It's all the bone structure, lips, eyes, nose.
All the things.
Yeah.
And now her daughter, oh, wow. I'm it's like Cindy all over again.
I was a big fan, too.
Yes.
But my favorite was Christy Turlington.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay, Christy Turlington is the epitome of perfection.
Oh my gosh.
She is
like
symmetry.
a fawn, a deer in the woods. So incredible. And even now, she's got a yoga line, and she's married to a great guy, and she's got kids, and she's just a really good person.
Yeah, she gives out really good energy into the world. Yeah. Like, she really does. I love following her. She's amazing. I actually have a painting, an oil painting of at my house that was redone of her in the famous Calvin Klein. Oh. It's really cool. So,
that brings me to Brooke Shields.
Oh, Brooke Shields for you.
That's number 2.
Okay.
I was a huge fan.
Brooke,
I'm thinking Blue Lagoon.
Yes.
Yeah. So controversial for its time, and now
look. Yes, exactly.
Wow. Who's your third? Do you have a third?
Oh my gosh.
You want me to give you a minute?
Well, I'm kind of jumping to like a little bit more present. Gigi Hadid. I think she's gorgeous.
She's so beautiful. She's so beautiful.
She's very natural. I go for the natural beauty. I don't like it enhanced, and and she can look so many different ways.
She can. I know. The good genes too. Yeah. Another mama model. Like, man, that's so crazy. Okay, so I would say my other 2, I would have to say Naja Armin, who is super old school. Like, you wouldn't necessarily know. She's from the 90s.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Beautiful, blonde, German.
Illustrated model?
Maybe. She was actually like a high fashion model in Germany. And like really pale skin, really, really light hair.
Oh, yes.
Do you remember her?
Yes.
She was
very exotic.
Very, very. And probably from that same era, I would have to say Helena Christensen, because she's my other favorite.
I love her.
God, I know, and those
she's
eyes.
Still like amazing looking.
I know. And the other day, she was jumping in the river on Christmas Day. Like the cold jumping, like I do.
Did you see on Instagram?
Yes, I did. I was like dying. I'm like, go! And then I have to have one more. I'm sorry, but I would just also have to say Giselle. Like, Giselle came on the scene.
Giselle, gorgeous body.
She came on the scene, and literally, like, she was like 14, and I remember like that was the era of supermodels, and I remember like then she came on, and I was like, no offense to every supermodel, but I'm like, she's like on a different level. Like, it was like so amazing when she showed up. I just couldn't even believe it. And also another great energy person. I love what she does. I love how she protects the planet. And she actually talks a lot about manifesting. Like, she's trying to almost teach on her Instagram how to manifest, which is so cool, because I don't think enough people are talking about manifesting.
Oh my goodness, no.
It's something, I think we're going towards this era of a little bit new agey. I see Gwyneth Paltrow doing it, and everyone's exploring stuff that I kind of grew up with as raised by a hippie mom in a commune. So for me, this is all like normal. Allopathic medicine, organic, and things like that. So it's refreshing to see the mind, the body, the spirit, and how it's coming to light.
Well, it's interesting that she even says that, because just the other day I was telling somebody, actually I was talking to somebody yesterday about coaching, and I said one of the things, like when I think of medicine and I think of your well-being, I think they're basically the same. I think of them as the same. So we do things every day to take care of our health, right? We do things day in, day out. We try to eat right, exercise. We do all these things to take care of our health, and then we have intervention. When we get sick, we have to beef up our holistic efforts, or some people go to the doctor. I think well-being is the same way. We do things every day to keep our mindset right and to keep our thoughts right. And then there are times when we have to do intervention. So I think it's all, so when you're talking about that manifestation, all that, I'm big into that. Like, I believe that, what you think about, you bring about, and where you put your energy, where you focus is where it's going.
Totally agree.
Positive or negative.
And who you surround yourself with.
Exactly. And so I think it even goes so much to even say about your health that all of this plays a part. Because, if you're having negative thoughts all the time, I mean,
you self-sabotage.
Exactly.
And we're all guilty of it.
Yes, and you're going to do things that are not going to be necessarily healthy for your body. I mean, it's just given. I mean, think about it. When we're in a bad mood, what do we want? We want junk food. I mean, we do certain behaviors that align with where we're thinking. So I spend all day talking about that.
Well, and I do have to say, if you have negative energy, it goes somewhere in your body.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, most of the time people have stomach cancer, it's because they had negative thoughts and it made them have a hurt stomach. And so, I mean, I just see so many people talking about, like those negative thoughts end up harboring somewhere in your body. Like they say envy's in a certain place and jealousy's in a different place, so very interesting.
It creates stress. And stress also can get you sick. And
So many
I've
factors.
experienced that. Like when I push myself too much and I hit a wall, and then my body will tell me something will pop up. And I'll be like, oh, it's time to take a break.
Exactly. Yeah. And for me, that's the same thing. It's usually a migraine.
I know, right?
That's my cue. And well, and I will say this: I never get migraines when I'm in the middle of a crisis. I always have a migraine in the down period when I'm coming off of it, because that's my body saying, you've been kicking butt for too long. Now take a breather.
Yeah.
Take that break.
Serotonin is going, and then you crash.
Absolutely. We could get on a whole conversation about this.
I know.
All right, well, I'll do my three very quickly, because
Yeah.
fashion is not my thing. This is why Tiffany was in my life when I did my book cover, because I've never been a big fashion girl. It's just never really been my thing. I love stuff. I just don't really like to shop for it, and I'm like, I see an outfit and I'm like, just give me that ensemble. Like, I just want that, like that. I don't want
Bring it up.
Yeah, just pull it all together. I need convenience. I need it all to be like, we talked about going to North Park. I went there for the second time a couple weeks ago, and
I'll take you shopping.
I was like, okay, too many people, great stores, but too many people, and I need to have my running shoes on so I can tackle it. So here are my three that I came up with. Cindy Crawford, obviously, I would have thought of her. And then I also thought of Elle McPherson and Tyra Banks. And I like Tyra Banks just because she's just got kind of a strong personality and,
body confidence, too. Because, she was that roundy, voluptuous when everyone was stick thin.
Yeah.
And now it's in style. And actually, I think I just saw her talking about it.
Yeah.
Really?
About how much pressure she had when she was modeling about her weight.
Yeah. A lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I think big time. Now we've got Lizzo, who's rocking.
I know.
I'm like,
booty.
Yeah.
I'm like, and everybody loves it. So I'm like, I love where we've come. You know, full circle.
Right.
It's about the confidence.
That's what I was just going to say. You said it's exactly what I was going to say. It's about the confidence. It really is.
It's
At
awesome.
the end of the day. All right. Well, we had Miss Tiffany on here, and I need to like formally introduce her really quick. So, as I mentioned a little while ago, she helped me with the styling on my book, which is fun. So she was actually introduced to me by my photographer at that time, and so we had a fun time. And that blue dress has kind of become my signature dress for that deal. And what's so funny about that photo is the one that I picked for the book, my cards, everything was kind of a candid shot. It's when we were not really trying to pose at that time. But what's so interesting is every time I go to networking events, somebody will say, "There's Jennifer," and they do the little pose, and they're like, "That's so you."
It's
and it cracks me up because it's really an icebreaker card, because I'm like, they really don't know me that well, right? But it's such a, she looks like she's fun,
You are.
Most times, right? Until I'm cross. So, anyways, but Tiffany is fabulous. Just a little bit about her. So she was raised by a single mom. I think she kind of mentioned that in a hippies age there. She's done some modeling, and I wrote all this down actually. Milan, Paris, Hamburg, Spain, and Taipei. Am I right?
Yes.
So amazing. I heard Milan and Paris, and I'm like, whoa, so fun. And she met her husband while she was in college getting her business degree. Am I correct? And then she's got two fabulous teenagers, which are busy. I see the pictures, so very busy. And she is a jewelry designer, a stylist, and then she was telling us before we even got on the show all these things she's doing. So I'm going to welcome her on here because I want her to tell us about this, because I don't even know if I get all this right. So welcome, Tiffany. We are so excited.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we are so excited to have you on here.
Yeah, so, go ahead and extend the biography that Jennifer just did with some of those extra things that you were telling us that you're doing, because you've got a lot of different projects, and you've got your creative hand in lots of things. So please share with our audience some of the other things you're doing.
Oh, sure. Let's start with the jewelry. I've sold luxury jewelry for 17 years, and definitely got to know the designers that were being worn on the red carpet. And I always wanted to start my own line and kind of have a similar look, but without the price point. So instead of a $7,000 earring, my earrings are like $165.
Awesome.
So I've been able to create sterling silver, 14 karat gold plated with real and semi-precious stones. And because I have control over the manufacturing, I can offer it at a really good price. And some major stores want to carry my stuff, but I'm like, I want to keep it low for my clients and friends. And I've just grown that business on Etsy for 4 years.
Yeah.
And now I have a website, over 40 magazine tear sheets, celebrity placement. Kim Kardashian has a piece. Tamla Mann, the gospel singer.
Oh my goodness.
Leanne Locken from Real Housewives. Her stylist helped get my jewelry in her, and we ended up meeting at a charity event. And we've since I went to her wedding reception, so that was super fun.
Wow.
My
Isn't that
designer friend made her
awesome?
dress. My other friend did her cake. My other friend owns the winery that provided the wine. So it's kind of like has a lot of synergy with my styling as well. So if I'm hired to style an influencer, CEO, Jennifer, I'm putting my jewelry on them. So I'm getting double exposure. So I kind of learned how to work that as well.
It's great.
And it's put me in front of really cool people. So
yeah, absolutely. And you've also done a couple of shows, pilots. You were talking about that a little bit.
So I quit retail about 6 years ago to manage my kids' careers. So my daughter was competitively dancing hip hop, competing, and also being choreographed by major dancers that dance with Rihanna, Beyonce, Justin Bieber.
Wow.
So she was like dancing since she was 3, performing at the Cowboys games, competing. That was like a full-time job. And if that wasn't all, my son was acting, singing, and modeling. So he was modeling for JCPenney's, he was in a short film, he was singing, performing at high schools. So he had merch and all kinds of, it was kind of crazy. My life, all I did was just kind of shuttle kids around.
Yeah.
And in the process, I got to meet Mason Miner. So he did my son's music video. And he took me aside and he said, you know what, you have a gift. And I said, I do? What is it? And he said, you have a great way of pulling people together. So at the time we were shooting the music video and it was 3 locations, 5 backup dancers. He was fully choreographed with the girl that does for Kids Pop. So he was on a trajectory to be a pop star.
Wow.
And so, you know, I kind of tucked that in the back of my head. And then Mason put him in his short film, Too Black. And it's an anti-discrimination short. And that was amazing. So I kind of went home and I said to my husband, I want to make something. He goes, what do you mean? I'm like, I want to shoot a documentary in a band. He's like, okay. So I wrote it, self-funded it. Mason filmed it, edited, and it premiered in LA and won 3 awards.
Oh my goodness! Wow.
So I got the Mary Pickford Award for producing, and she's the first female producer. I got the top documentary short and top music video. For some reason, they thought it looked like a music video. So,
wow.
That's amazing.
And then honorable mention by LA Underground Film Festival. So that led me to wanting to develop some pilots for reality shows. And it's been on a journey the last 3 years. Networking, flying to LA, flying to Nashville, getting a manager, getting a team, getting all my vision in place. And I have to say it's a huge investment. And I have to give it to my husband to support me on this journey.
Right.
Because it costs a lot. It
Yes.
costs money
Yes.
and time.
Sure.
And,
Sure.
you know, and my kids are older, so I had this kind of freedom to travel a little bit.
Right, right. Well, and I'm sorry, I was going to say, I think anytime you're doing creative art in the beginning stages, there's just a lot of time and energy and money in that, and you just have to almost go with that process of just saying, I'm doing this because I love doing this.
Right.
And I will say she is extremely creative. And I love, you know what I love is that you're like, this is your family. Like, this is your life.
This is my life. I work from home, so I am there for my kids.
Yes,
I
but they're talented too. I love it.
Thank you.
It's like the whole brew, you know what I mean?
That's what's amazing too. I mean, we are self-made.
Yeah.
He started this food company when my son was born. And I have to brag on him because he's the largest independent specialty food distributor in Dallas.
That is amazing.
So he sells to the big guys and then all the specialty restaurants, caterers. And he has a glamorous life too. He flies around. He's platinum. He goes to Italy, Spain, Brazil on buying trips.
Wow.
And, you know, we just have a great life. So I'm fashion, film, he's like food, and then the kids are following their dreams. Hannah now is in the musical Hairspray.
I saw that. I did see that. Yes.
It's a J.J. Pierce production, and it's like Broadway. If you've ever read about J.J. Pierce,
they've got it going on.
Yeah.
I used to do videography for them.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so they are, and you
Heather
know,
Biddle runs the program, and it's 120 kids.
Wow.
It's incredible, and the stage, and the parents, and the outfits, and the singing.
Yeah.
If you can go see it this weekend,
we should go.
I would like
we
to.
Should go see it. I saw your post the other day. I stalk her. I look at her stuff all the time. She's always got like fun stuff going on. I'm like, well, you know, you're those people that are in your life that like, you know, the people that have things going on. I mean, you can always get on Facebook and read some post about nothing important, but there's those people that have things going on all the time, and those are the people that I love keeping up with and following because they're making magic happen. That's what I would say, making magic happen. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah. She's always got fun stuff going on.
Thank you.
I know. Well, and I've got something I want to kind of discuss because I think this is something that it has, at least in the past, been a conversation is if you're creative and you want to make it big or whatever, I mean, the classic thing to do is to drop Dallas and go move to LA, right? So here you are in Dallas based, and you're still, I mean, that may not be a thing, but I know when I was growing up, it was a thing.
Yes.
So like, break that barrier or talk about, like, what it's like to start in Dallas, build in Dallas, and then grow into other markets or go travel or, like, for somebody that, I could see people having a limiting belief about, well, I don't live in LA and I don't know if I want to uproot my life, but can I still be a creative?
It's interesting because we have the largest influx to Dallas is from LA. So when I go to LA and I see how expensive it is and how hard it is to get around, I have to bring on Dallas. And it wasn't always true. Like when I came here to model 29 years ago, people in the business asked me why I'm here. Now I can say I'm here because it's a great city, stuff's going on, people are easy to work with, people are nice, and you can get a lot done for free. I shouldn't be saying this, but I can get a lot of stuff done for free because people aren't as jaded from the shows and the content and stuff that's being done, and everyone kind of wants to make something cool happen. So whenever I'm, creating a show and recruiting people, I never hear no. Everyone is like, wants to be a team player, they want to be a part of it. And it's not that kind of, well, I'll do this for you if you do this for me. It's just a fun, loving, like, I'm going to help you, and it always comes back. So whenever someone helps me, I do something special for them with my connections, whether it's a magazine article or it's on getting them on a news station or something. So, and actually, there's some people that live in LA, but that live in Dallas that say they live in LA because of their work, but they actually live here. So I can't say who it is, but there's several famous people that actually live here and they prefer it here, and they fly to LA and do their job.
That's really cool. Yeah, like I said, I felt like that's something I've heard people say or think that they don't have as many opportunities in Dallas. And I don't think, especially now, you're right. I mean, there's so many people moving from California to Dallas, and it just continues to grow. So that's cool to know it's like an additional hub with even better energy.
And I will say this, for the younger pop singers and actors, I know they do have to go to LA. Like, you have to go there. That's where the jobs are. And that being said, I think that's why I'm developing stuff here on my shows and the movies I'm working on, because it's bringing jobs to Texas. And I always make that very clear in my meetings, my pitch meetings, and who I'm talking to. I said I can get it done for less here, and it's going to be more fun. And they're like, okay. So
that's awesome.
Well, I was going to say, and I would agree with you too about the, being able to work with people here, because we've even had several people on here that have said that. I mean, you can get, whether it's free or not, doesn't matter. I think people are willing to help, and I do agree with you that there is the ability to do that here, working with synergy partners and collaborating and that kind of thing. And and it's a great mindset to have when you're trying to do business, not to be in that I do something for you, you do something for me mindset. I've never worked like that. I firmly believe that things come around, and we made the comment in a previous podcast that even through networking, sometimes you create credible friendships within the network. You may never do business with that person, but they may lead you to somebody that does do business with you. So you never really know. So I think that's the thing that was sticking out in my...
I'm always networking and selling myself. And my husband's like, you're always talking about yourself. And I'm like, actually, I'm talking about my projects, which affect dozens of people.
I agree.
So he's used to it now, but we'll go, I generally don't take him to like charity events and things like that. It's kind of boring for him.
Yeah.
But that being said, I will travel to shows with him and entertain clients from Europe and things like that. So we kind of know what works, what doesn't. Right. And that being said, like going back to the free part, it's usually locations. Like I can call a restaurant and say, hey, can we film there? Or I can call a club or something.
Yes.
When it gets down to the job, of course everyone's paid, but it's just a little bit easier here to do stuff. I hear rates in LA, to film here it's $5,000, to film there it's $3,000. I'm like,
wow,
it's free advertising for them. So
right. Yeah, no, I think that's great. So I want to ask you, I guess, talk a little bit about your childhood. I'd love to hear about that.
Oh my gosh, how long do you have?
That's why
people have said I need to write a book.
And this is what I want to talk to you about, because I think you're brilliant. I mean, you're extremely creative in the things that you do, and I will say something about you talking about yourself. I think that's totally okay. You've earned it, and you deserve it. So, if you're doing something great, talk about it. If it's helping other people, then share it.
Thanks.
I tell people that all the time. I mean, it's like we as women have kind of got this idea that we're not allowed to talk about the things that we've done.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a comment in the previous podcast that I read this the other day that, somebody doing more than you will never criticize you.
Right.
Somebody doing less than you would be the person that's going to criticize you.
Right.
So, I mean, really, if you're doing something that's empowering other people, and I think teaching people and helping them, then you owe it to the world to share it.
I know. Well, and I
whatever
think
that art form is, whatever that is for you.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I would just say, I think it's such a thing, like, we would only hear that as a woman. Like, don't,
Exactly.
we would never say to our husband who's super successful, like, stop talking about your project.
Exactly. Don't tell anybody you're an attorney and what case you just,
right. And, like, all your awards. Like, don't talk about, like, I think that's just, it's something that's ingrained in our culture. We can't help it. So,
Right. But I think that's great. But yes, I do want to hear a little bit about your childhood. Tell us some fun stuff about that.
Gosh.
Like, how did that impact who you are today?
It's my mom, 100%. I mean, we grew up on welfare, super poor, and so she was always doing some art form to make money on the side.
Wow.
So at one point she had a clothing line, and she'd drag us around country fairs and sell her clothes.
That's awesome.
And then we'd make garlands and sell those, my sister and I. And so I was a young entrepreneur. I was always babysitting, making stuff, trying to make money, thrift store shopping. I did buy and sell gold. I would find gold and take it to the pawn shop to get money, and the guy's like, where are you getting this? I think he thought my parents were like robbing homes and giving you the jewelry or something.
Right, wow.
And I said, I go to flea markets and dig through stuff and find false rings and old gold necklaces, and so it was just a very interesting upbringing. We moved around a lot, so we lived in a teepee at one time.
Oh my goodness,
we lived in a commune. My mom would drag us to Grateful Dead concerts. I got to hang out with the Grateful Dead. My sister's best friend was the manager, and I went to high school with Jerry Garcia's daughter.
Wow.
So I was kind of surrounded by them. So it was very like, I didn't think about it at the time, but I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. So between that, my mom, and being around a lot of adults at a young age in the art world, I think that's where I get my vision and taste level.
Yeah.
And she was a model, and
cool.
but more for painters. So she put herself in period pieces from the 30s and 40s and model, and the painters. So I mean, I'm definitely influenced by my mom. She would like paint the house crazy colors, like one wall green, one wall blue, and she'd paint and do furniture. I mean, she just is a really chameleon.
She's
artist.
making my heart smile. And you know why? This is so. I'm smiling when I'm listening to this because I just envision this, and it's like you have no, like, you know how when you ask people about their past, they either have this like okay feeling, or they have this very negative feeling, or they have this just very happy feeling. And she's smiling when she's talking about this, so it's almost like, this was my life, and like you've embraced it. Like, I love it. Like, you just embraced it as this was my, this is the way I lived, and I think it's amazing. I'm like just visioning this picture of it, like flower child stuff, like, it's all good.
It
was probably kind of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
Yes, it was probably kind of fun. So
cool. Well, not traditional though.
No.
And many years I did try to hide it. People didn't know I was poor. Like, I wouldn't invite friends over after school and things like that. So it does have its downside. And then marrying my husband, who's from a very wealthy family, I just kind of hid that for a long time. I didn't talk about it. I wanted to be this. I moved to Dallas from LA. I wanted to be this perfect person, have the perfect job, have the perfect family, have the perfect life. Yeah. So it hasn't been until like the last 3 years that I've really told people.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Well, and I'd love to know, okay, so I feel like styling and thrifting are like a thing. Because when I was young, like you would look at Vogue and you'd be like, oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Oh, it's $1,700. I don't even own $1,700. Right. And so I would pull out I like this, the boleros are in now, this is in, and I would take those ideas and then I would go to the thrift store and I would recreate the outfits.
I did the same thing.
Yeah, so I mean, I'd love to know, like how that kind of happened, because I'm assuming there's a big correlation in all of that.
Oh, for sure. I mean, my style now is Hollywood glam. So I spend hours on Etsy sourcing vintage clothes. I go to my friend's store, Vintage Martini. I'll buy stuff. And I'll put the looks together I have 2 country singers. I'm on their creative team. So I put them in the old Western shirts and the cool like fringe skirts. And I make stuff too. Jewelry for them that's actually like bone and leather and antique brass and stuff. So I definitely can cross over to many different looks, but my specialty is 50s, 60s.
That's awesome. Do you know how to sew? And
I do.
So you can make your own clothes too?
But the issue now is I have someone sew for me. I don't. I'm a little ADD because I'm doing so much, so I have to outsource.
Imagine that.
So I design it, and then I have my seamstress make it.
Wow. That's so cool. I love that.
I love it. Well, we talked about the delegating, especially when you have and you probably do like I do. I get ideas about things. Like I love hearing people's businesses because when I talk to somebody, my brain starts thinking, what can I do with that person? Like that's what my brain does, and I have to write things down because I just get so overwhelmed.
You get motivated.
Yeah, I'm motivated, but I get so caught up in ideas that I'm like, okay, hold on a minute. Like, is that really going to work in what I'm trying to do here?
Right.
I got to rethink this through. So I can totally get that. So this is fun.
I do the same thing. So I have to tell you, we went to Tokyo last summer, and I'm launching a kimono line. So they're all silk and hand embroidered.
Yeah.
And so that will launch in a month or so.
How exciting.
I just ordered all my samples. So yeah.
How exciting.
So to add onto the jewelry.
That'll be great. Well, and now wearing pajamas is
I'm so comfortable.
Yeah.
I'll just wear a kimono every day with some leggings and a
that's
shirt.
my life. I work from home and
there you
I'm
go.
in pajamas all day.
That's so awesome.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, I have a question for you. We try to ask this question because I think I'm a big on the mindset and the grit and tenacity. I love talking about that part of it because I think there's no way to succeed without having a little bit of setback in the middle of all that. So what would you say, and I know you've shared a little bit about your childhood, but I didn't even think, by the way you made that picture to us, it seems like that was all rosy and good. So I would say, what would probably be the most difficult thing that you've had to go through, maybe in your career or just in life in general?
I don't know. I just think it's dealing with the stuff that goes south. You put your trust in people, and then maybe, they have a lot of power, so you put your trust in them, and then they end up kind of burning you. So I can't name names or anything, but in the entertainment business, more so than the modeling, I never had this issue in the modeling, but entertainment business, everyone's craving creativity and ideas. So I think I've been taken advantage of a little bit on some of my concepts, and I'm really careful now with contracts and NDAs and things to protect myself, because that's a major thing that I've cried tears because I trusted this person, they just did me wrong.
Right.
So I think it's rebounding from that with still a positive attitude and making your circle smaller, and then it's a circle of trust.
Yeah.
Just making sure you have the team that's got your back.
I would agree. And I would, something that I was saying the other day, and this has been really huge for me, is I talk about guarding my energy. And so on that note, what you're talking about, picking the people that you work with and who you can trust. I always tell Amy, and I don't know if you're like this, I'm this way. I read people very well. And so I don't want to say that I see somebody and I don't like them.
Right.
There will be something, when I'm working with people that I can pick up on very quickly. There's something I'm not quite.
It's a bad vibe.
It's a bad vibe. I always say I'm kind of like a dog.
Yeah.
A little bit. I joke about it a little bit. You have dogs. They always say have a sense about people, and kids and dogs, they know when they like somebody.
Oh, yeah.
And so I always tell this story, and I laugh about it now because my mom talked about it for years, that she had a good friend that had a little boy that was about the same age as me, and my mom was good friends with this lady. And she'd say every time she'd go over there, I would scream because I could not stand this little kid. Well, I asked my mom about the kid. I'm like, what's the story with this kid? And she was like, he was hyper. He was just, and I can only imagine this, and I've, for years I never thought anything to that, but I've always said this, that, when I meet people I know. So I think the guarding the energy thing is huge because I believe in your gut and your intuition. If you're working with somebody and you just feel, and you don't always know, but you
don't know it right away.
You don't always.
And you just get so into the common goal
I
that
agree.
I give 110% and I help everybody, but you're right, you have to guard yourself.
Yes,
because there's a lot of opportunists out there that kind of want to get to your people or whatever you're doing and use it for themselves.
I agree, 100%.
And so it just changes the whole trajectory.
Yeah.
And then I've found out I've wasted a lot of time, energy, money.
And motion. Of course. Yeah. Time is money, right?
Having those good boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, because you're so creative and you work on all these projects and you're very successful as a creative, which sometimes can be hard. I think as creatives, we can kind of be everywhere. And so I guess I have a question I think a lot of people would love to know, at least I'm always interested in this, if you're going after a goal project, what does your mindset look like? What does your schedule look like? what are you thinking? What are you doing? You know, because it's always different for everybody. But I think people would love to be inside your mind for a minute.
Okay. Because I rely on a team of creatives, I have to motivate them. So I set deadlines and I really check in and I'm proactive. You know, because I'm doing a job and I have a goal, but I don't have all the time in the world, you know. And that's one thing that's different about me, because I'm a creative and I have a business mind. So I try to paint the bigger picture for them. I'm like, if we do this, we can get this, and that will lead to this, and just keep the energy level up and positive vibes. Like, it's great, it's wonderful, let's do this, let's change that, let's, you know, work together. So I really try to stay away from people with really big egos, because it seems to tie us up.
Sure.
That makes so much sense.
Agenda.
I guess they have another agenda.
Yeah,
so you know, it's the bigger picture. And I would say what I'm trying to get into this world, you know, I'm not successful yet in the film and TV, because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time and money and connections and everything. So I think that's what I like, is a challenge. So I've kind of aced the jewelry and styling, and now I want to ace the entertainment world.
I love it.
That's really good. I mean, I think that's got to be the hardest thing when you have the business mind and you're creative. Because, like I said, we always talk about herding cats, but like, you want to talk about creatives, like,
oh my
it's
God.
like herding clouds or something. I don't even know.
Right.
Yeah, because you know, I think when you really go, and I've met so many stars and been around so many successful people, and they're just like you and I, and their life actually has more stress and pressure.
Sure.
Because so many people are relying on them for their success, their salary, their livelihood, and I have to give it to them. I really have a hard time when the public is judging somebody, because I'm like, look what they've had to go through to get to where they are. Let's look at the whole person, not just, wow, they're famous, what it took to get there.
Right.
So I'm always interested in the story, and I think that's my driving force. When I look back, my documentary is on a female. My projects are based on females, and powerful females, creative females, true stories, interesting stories, and I just want to capture that. So I guess my legacy would be educating people, and then on women.
That's great.
Influential women. So
it's wonderful. So wonderful. So this is a fun question. I'm gonna switch gears on you, because what would you say, or what do you like to do for fun besides being creative?
I love to travel.
Travel
is like my medicine. It gives me life. So I love traveling with my family. We usually go for like the month of June to Europe, or my husband's from Lebanon right now. They're having a revolution, so we probably won't go there this summer.
Right.
So we're trying to look at other places. We're looking at Morocco, India, maybe. So I think it's travel, because I travel about 6-7 times a year.
Wow.
And some is for work, and then some's for pleasure. I take a spa trip with my girlfriends to Marival every year for 4 days and decompress. And I think it's just like taking that time out, because my schedule is kind of changes. I just work a lot, so I have to like check out and take some time for myself.
I'm sure you have to enjoy your work, and that's the thing. Like, they always say, when you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life. So when I ask you, what do you do for fun? And that's why I said besides being creative, because I think when you're being creative, it's fun.
Oh, I love what I do. I work from home. I'm super productive, but I feel like I'm always working.
Yeah.
Is your travel experience a little bit different because you're a platinum blonde and like everybody has
nice?
Yeah, like do you get like special treatments?
I like to go to the American Express Lounge and eat the good food, and the kids. The kids really love traveling, and they can travel well, and they're very spoiled. Like we got lucky on the trip to Shanghai, and then we went on to Tokyo. We got bumped up to business, and it's a 14-hour flight, so you watch a movie, you sleep, for 8 hours, and then I woke up, watched a movie, and boom, we're there.
Wow.
So, it's nice.
Wow.
Very nice.
I love it. And she paints such great pictures.
I know. So
we're very spoiled.
Visionary. I like it.
And then with my husband being the foodie, we always have to book the top restaurants in New York and San Francisco, a month before we get there.
Yeah.
So we have a list, and yeah, and the kids love New York. We stay at the same hotel. They have a rooftop pool. My kids, we let them be independent.
Sure.
Probably shouldn't say this on the air, but we let them roam around New York, by themselves for a little bit. Just give them that sense of independence. They're 17 and 14.
Right.
And we did it in London too. When my daughter goes off to college, I want to know that she can take a lift, she can get around, she can order her food, she can fend for herself.
Of course.
Right.
So she's well equipped, not like me in Italy.
Yeah.
Right, at
lost
18.
all the time.
Right.
Lost all the time.
I think that's great. No, I think that's great because you want your kids to be equipped to take care of themselves when they leave. I mean, you do. There's nothing worse than you send your child off somewhere to college and you don't know if they can take care of themselves.
Right.
I mean,
and they're calling you all the time.
Exactly.
Advice and what to do.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that. My kids don't call.
Yeah.
I joke about my 15-year-old. I'm like, he only needs me to drive him around. Like none of them call me. I'm like the other day. I'm like, my oldest got a new job like 3 weeks ago. And the day that she's a preschool teacher now, which I'm so excited for her. She's such a great little human for that. But I sent her a message that morning that said, good luck on your first day at work. No response. And I'm like, the other day, I'm like, man, it's been 3 weeks. Wonder how she's doing at her job. Has anybody talked to Kara?
Is she alive? Where is she?
Apparently everybody has talked to her but me. So I said my kids don't need me. But it's a good thing. My dad used to always say when I wouldn't call my mom, he's like, well, that's good news. Means she's not in trouble.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
It's true. If you're an independent soul, you figure it out. Right?
I know.
It's tough though.
I know it
teenagers.
is. It is. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
You want to dote on them and do stuff for them. You just like, Mom,
they're not into it.
Can you leave me alone right now?
Right. I think that's why they become teenagers, so we will let them go. You got to have those moments because if they were cute, when forever, we just never kick them out. They have to go through those moments of, I don't know what you want to call it, but just trouble.
Trouble and freedom.
Yes, trouble and freedom and mouthiness and all that goes with it. Right. Exactly. So fun stuff.
I know. We talked a lot about just all the different things that you've done, and I mean, you kind of been all over the place. But what would you say is like your strongest quality in all the different things you've done?
My strongest quality. Always keeping a positive attitude. I mean, that's what people tell me. I don't know that. I don't feel that because, I have
inside it's swirling.
Like self-doubt and stuff. But everyone's like, we love your energy. You're super positive. I love cheering other people on. I love networking, connecting people. Even if I'm not involved, I just kind of see where there's a need and connect them. And I think that's my strongest quality is like resilience and positivity. Cheering people on.
Mm-hmm. I would totally agree. I mean, I think you're so positive. Like you're like a little sunshine, which is so awesome.
She is.
Thank you.
And she came in and she gave us gifts.
She gave us jewelry,
which was amazing.
Wait, she gave us jewelry and chocolate.
I know. Like if you were like a man, we would be like, we're getting married right now.
We got jewelry and dark chocolate. Yes.
And the chocolate was in support of one of her friend's companies. So, like, you walk in and you're giving us gifts and you're already connecting us to other people. And so I immediately picked up on that. And I like how you're able to be collaborative because you don't always see that. And like you said, you're in an industry where there are people with big egos. And there can be some collabs, but I feel like sometimes that's not always the first thing people are thinking about.
Right. So. I try to be conscientious of like everyone around me, and so I don't know. It's just me. I love giving gifts. I love people. Like I like to make them happy. I think I've been so fortunate, and then now I'm at that point in my life where I want to give back.
Right.
So it's not about me. I mean, I try to tell people, they think, oh, you just want to be on a reality show. You want to be famous. I'm like, no, you're missing the whole point. The whole point is to create something amazing, positive show to educate people, and if I have to be the spokesperson to make it happen, so be it. Like, but I don't go home and think, oh my gosh, I'm going to be the star or whatever. You know what I mean? It's a total mindset. Of like being.
I love it.
It's not about me.
Right. Yeah, I know. And I'm like, who's saying that to you, Tiffany?
I know. Somebody is
saying that to you.
No, it's just interesting because I think people make a lot of assumptions. And I think I used to be guilty of it too. And now that I've, done all these projects and see the criticism where it's coming from, it's really counterproductive and negative. So I actually am very vocal, stand up for people that are being bad mouth like friends of mine and things like that. I'm like, it just never does any good.
No,
it might, it might make that person. It's almost like it's gossip, but it's also like counterproductive. So
That's what I read today in my book about the gossiping. Stop gossiping.
Yeah.
Well, and then people don't understand. It's even like we were talking about banter. I mean, everything. It's people. I guess maybe in the moment they feel good about doing that behavior to somebody, but I always say it really shows a reflection of who you are as a human being.
Right.
When you behave that way, and so I just think it's none of that is ever positive. And we've been set in a culture, in our former company where we were around positive people all the time, and so it's really been ingrained. And so I just really struggle when I see people behaving certain ways. I'm like, I don't understand how that's benefited
you. It usually
you.
stems from jealousy.
Yes.
Because maybe they're not doing what that person's doing, or they think they can do it better, or they just want to be like a judge. But
no, I agree with you.
It's kind of a time waster.
I agree with you 100%.
It is. And I think the judging thing is really interesting too, because I feel like you see that a lot in the industry. Like Star Wars, for example, it just came out and like it was the last one, and J.J. Abrams worked so hard on it, and it was so amazing. Like it was just wrapped up and tied with a bow. And I went and saw it like the first night, and like everybody's clapping, everybody's screaming, everybody's excited, and then like the next day my husband's online and you see all this stuff, and I'm like, really? Yeah. I mean, I want to say to the people that would do that, I'm like, then you go do it better.
Exactly.
Like, are you kidding? Like I feel like we're in an age of America where we're like, entertain me, impress me. Everyone's a critic. Yeah, it's shocking to me the amount of criticism, because I'm like, you're right, it takes away from the energy and even the creative energy, and like we really have to. I mean, if you're upset with one thing, fine, but like the whole movie is bad. Like I mean,
well,
yeah, I heard it was good.
Yeah,
and then we just had the Grammys, and then they're critiquing the winners. Billie Eilish, I saw her in concert. She's amazing. She deserved every award she got.
I thought so too. I was crying for her. I was just like, this is. I love too that they didn't. The last week, she's like, thank you.
Right. Well, and I heard something the other day because I was talking about my book, and somebody had written like a troll review on it. I'm like, did they even read the book? Like, did they read it? But it's okay. Yeah. So the funny thing was, I was telling this girl about, because I mean, I think I didn't even care about the review. It was more about the fact that I don't think they read the book. I think it was just a troll review. It didn't even make sense what she said. Yeah. So anyways, I was telling this girl about it, and she said, but think about it. You have the courage to put something out there that somebody's talking about.
Right.
And I'm like,
any press is good press.
Yes,
exactly. And I really honestly, with that I say, you're telling your story, whatever that is. If you're proud of your work, then be proud of it.
Right.
And who cares what everybody
That's all
thinks.
that matters.
Right? They're not paying your bills at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. We don't care. Right? I love it. Yeah. So I have a question for you. I lost my train of thought. Who would you say is your biggest influencer?
Oh my gosh, that's tough. I don't know.
You probably have lots, I would say.
I mean, it would have to be like an entrepreneur female that's doing a lot of different things. Okay. I was really, a friend is now collabing with Kathy Ireland, and I really hadn't checked back with her. She is like killing it in the business world. Wow. So when I started reading about, she's endorsing these hotels, and she has this clothing line, and she really went from modeling to making good amount of money from her business. Yeah. Cindy Crawford too. So they inspire me. I think I take from each one, like when I read a woman who's successful in business and how she's well liked. Mm-hmm. I mean, I definitely am inspired by that.
That's awesome.
I think that's really good. Well, and we talked about this even before we got on the air, and so I think this would be something people would love to know about. What is your charitable cause for the world?
Oh my gosh, there's so many.
I know. You're really tied with charity, which I think is amazing.
Yeah, there's so many great ones in Dallas. So Attitudes and Attire, Lynn Berman has an organization, so they retrain women to go back in the workforce and dress them. There's Family Place. They have a home, and they bring in women and children that have been abused. And they do Partners Card. That's a great charity. Texas Food Bank. They provide, I was involved in the letter writing campaign for the backpack program. So they give them food when they go home from the weekend, so they have something to eat. My nearest and dearest, because several of my friends are on the board, and I donate and also get other friends to donate different things, is Mosaic Foundation. So they deal with human trafficking. So when I started with them, Dallas was number 1. Now it's number 2. They are the first organization the Dallas police call when they have somebody that's been trafficked. And so they have all those resources, interpreters, a house, clothing, protection, and everything that you would need. And 100% goes back into the charity. So there's not, there's just doing a lot of good. And they're a smaller organization. They're not as big as some of the other ones like New Friends, New Life. I think they're doing great. They just, I think Mosaic needs help. They're smaller, and I just feel like I can make more of a difference there.
Wow.
That's so great.
This has been great.
I know.
Awesome. Well, yeah, I'm looking at the clock and I'm like, wow, we've been talking for a while. This has been great.
I know, it's a girl's chat.
It has been good. All right, Tiffany, so if our listeners wanted to get in contact with you to check out your jewelry, what you've got going on, what is the best way for them to reach you?
Believe it or not, Instagram.
Okay.
So on Instagram, I'm Tiffany's Fine Jewelry.
Okay.
I have my Etsy site. It's Tiffany's Fine Jewelry as well. It has all my merchandise on there as opposed to my website.
Okay.
Over 42 million people shop on Etsy, and so I ship all over the world. And I'm one of the top sellers. I have to brag on that.
Good for
with
you.
Over 150 5-star reviews. And
Wow.
so I love my Etsy customers. That's a great resource. And then I'm exclusive at Papagallo.
Okay.
So Papagallo in Plano, it's by
Yeah.
Central Market.
I know right where it is.
Yeah, my friend Linda owns it, and she's
Okay.
a sweetheart. So we're going to actually take my merchandise into the Frisco store and the Fort Worth store in the next month. So just growing that business with a friend and big
Wonderful.
supporter.
Yeah.
So fun.
Thanks.
Well, and when we actually air this show, we can put your contact information, your
Oh, great.
Etsy site on there and all that, so they'll know how to find you. So,
Yes, thank
and
you.
I will probably even put your little bio that you sent me. Maybe we can link that in there too. That was a good article, by the way.
Oh, thanks. The one from Vogue.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good article.
Yeah,
so.
that was nice.
Awesome. Well, this has been fun. Oh my
It has
goodness,
been so much
so
fun.
fun
Thank you guys.
when we do these podcasts. I look at the time like, wow, we'll keep going. Like we'll keep talking.
Just
Like,
chatting after.
a couple hours later.
We'll have some wine.
Yeah, exactly. We always talk about how we need to do something like that sometime, kind of mix it up. So,
Yeah.
but anyways, what we do want to say to our listeners, if you love our podcast, please give us ratings on iTunes and of course on Facebook. We cannot do this without you, and we appreciate you. And I think it's time to do our mantra.
Let's do the
Let's do
mantra.
that. All right, it's a great day to be brave. You are not getting any younger. You might as well start now. You have the power to change your circumstances any day you decide. Let today be that day. Rise up, be amazing, be you, do you. All right, you guys take care, be safe, and be kind to one another. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Woo!